An estimated 1,800 square kilometers of land in Laos is still in need of bomb clearance. That's roughly 2.5 times the size of New York City. Correspondent Jason Motlaw meets with the locals still affected by the unexploded bombs. He also takes us to the front lines of the efforts to find and destroy cluster munitions.
ลาวเขาเนาะแต่สมัยสงครามนับแต่ปี1964 53ถือว่ามีสงครามถือว่าเกิดขึ้นหลายแล้วอยู่เขตนี้ถือว่ามีระเบิดหลายที่สุดเนาะ750 ปอนด์ 500 ปอนด์กับ 1,000 ปอนด์ก็มีลูกว่ารู้ทุกว่าอันนอนกับลูกบ่มใหญ่อันน่ะมีหลายอยู่เขตนี้โดยเฉพาะเป็นเส้นทางทางโฮจิมินห์นี่เนาะเพราะว่ามีผลกระทบสูงเป็นขุมบ่มแต่ละบ่อนแต่ว่ายังใหญ่อยู่หั่นคือว่าหลายสุด
ขอประกาศแจ้งเตือนอีกเนาะถึงบรรดาพ่อแม่พี่น้องผู้ที่มาทำอยู่หากินให้มาสวนมาอย่างก็แล้วแต่เนาะถ้าได้ยินเสียงประกาศนี้แล้วให้ฮอนบอกฮอนใจเพราะว่าทางทีมงานเก็บกู้ระเบิดกับพวกเขาจะได้มีการทำลายระเบิดแล้วในเวลาอันประมาณนี้ถ้าได้ยินเสียงประกาศนี้แล้วให้ฮอนบอกฮอนใจออกไปหาว่างลีว่างบังที่แน่นหนา
มีโครงการกู้ระเบิดประมาณปี99เนาะยังบ่พื้นที่หรือว่าทำลายระเบิดออกนี่ยังเป็นส่วนน้อยๆเนาะคือว่ายังหลายเนาะคือว่ายังหลายปีสมควรก็จะอันนั้นระเบิดออกหมดเนาะการเก็บทำลายเป็นเจ้ามีผลกระทบเนาะเกี่ยวกับประชาชนไปทำมาหากินเนาะหาหน่อไม้อันบ่กดเครียดกดกบนี่นะเนาะเฮ็ดให้ระเบิดแตกใส่เนาะให้ประชาชนนี่ถูกบาดเจ็บหรือว่าเสียชีวิตเนาะ
เอาถ้าทุกจุดเตรียมพร้อมแล้วเข้าซิ่งกำบังรอพังเสียงนับ3
Winding its way through the limestone karst and jungle of eastern Laos, the Ho Chi Minh Trail has the dark distinction of being the most heavily bombed part of the most heavily bombed country in history. During the Vietnam War, the U.S. military pounded this area continually to stanch enemy forces and weapons moving on the trail, in what came to be known as the Secret War. Air was a boy at the height of the bombing campaign.
ลักลี้เลยทำนี่เลยไม่ได้มาเลยแหละครับเงินคือปีหนึ่งเมานี่แต่ว่าเราเบียร์มา3 มื้อมา3 มื้อมา3 มื้อมา2 มื้อเดี๋ยวเอาอย่างตัวดินตอนนี้ทงนากินกับมดเดินตัวภูผามันเกิดมดอย่างนี้มุ่นเลยมาบ่เป็นใจคอยคืนนี้เฮ็ดให้อันนั้นนี่เพื่อกุ้งกินนี่ดูกุ้มจะว่าครับให้หน้ากินมดเฮ้ยเงินกินมดแล้วเบ้อ
Like many residents, Air was forced to flee the village until the war ended. 50 years later, bomb craters still scar the landscape.
Dạ cái mấy gì điều phúc chịu phải cho như được quẹn lính quẹn chịu ngao mày Yo mình lại ta là bị khúc chỉ có mình nên bạt điều nữa cứ bùng leo đâu vào nhau.
It's a huge, huge problem in Laos still. The impact is really beyond lives and limbs. It's economical, it's environmental, mental health issues, and so on. Just about 2 months ago, there was an incident that sadly we lost the lives of 2 children in Takek, and that's the area that I was born. And it really, it really solidifies our work at Legacies of War. It also tells us that there's still a lot of work remaining.
เพราะอยู่พี่มันตกหลายแล้วมันเป็นเขตอันที่อันระเบิดตกค้างอยู่พี่มันมีหลายแล้วเขาเจ้าใหญ่ทำกองปัจจัยมันอยู่พี่แล้วเขาเจ้ามันยิงใส่ระเบิดใส่บ้านเฮาบ้านนาสลาเฮานี่เขาเจ้ามันยิงทำอยู่พี่แล้วเขาเจ้าอยู่ปอมผูพี่มันเอายุ่งมาแล้วมันเข้าใส่บ้านเฮานี่นะ
And what do you do when you find UXO? Do you deal with it yourself or do you call the professionals?
การระเบียบบ้านทันเทนมันคันว่าอ่านประชาชนแนะนำให้เขาเจ้าแล้วมันระยะพบเห็นแล้วมันให้เขาเจ้าพากันหนีอย่าสู้จับอย่าสู้มั้งอย่าสู้ทิมแล้วถ้าเราจะเสนอนำองค์การเพิ่นจะมาเก็บเมียนเพื่อให้ความปลอดภัย
But in this Hmong farming village, that advice only helps so much, where unexploded bombs, often hidden from sight, are still claiming lives.
และเฮือนนี้แหละเป็นเฮือนนั้นเป็นประชาชนของชาวบ้านน่ะแล้วเพิ่นไปเฮ็ดให้อยู่ผู้สานพุ่นแล้วเพิ่นไปขุดทางเอารถไปขุนเข้ามาเฮือนมันซั่นจ้ะแล้วก็ขุดถือมุมบีให้มันก็ถึกมันตาบ่นึงมันก็ดับมาซั่นจ้ะน่ะมันบ่เห็นเดี๋ยวนี้ก็ยังเป็นเสียงค้า
The victim is lucky to be alive. A few doors down, Hamla Sialao is grieving from a recent accident that claimed her husband and son.
Chỉ bỏ tiền hàng người có chỉ là hàng lý trả chị chú rõ là chị nó là chị nó chị bốn chiếc cô nói gì chị nó là chị chưa chị cỡ tư trong linh tử ta là xứ chị như chị tông ngựa hay như chị tông nó ngựa thả chị chỉ là có một khẩn gạo ở xứ chị nên đây nhưng mà liều tê chứ nhưng mà liều tê chị nhưng anh trai có tên này chỉ có chị bây giờ liều tê là sư chị nhưng chỉ có cho tên nó nếu anh trai tên này chỉ có cho chị bỏ chị nhưng trai á tên nó bỏ được tức là nhưng trai chỉ có nữa của tụi chỉ ý sĩ nó chỉ cho bố nhưng chỉ có tên nó mình nhớ có là nhưng thêm nhiều chỉ bố có từ từ có là nhưng thêm chỉ bố có tên nó là không thay lại năng thì chỉ bố có nữa anh chỉ dầu no sẽ dầu đi cha thì khi đi họ đông đi no thì cũng đi bao chỉ tàu được họ thì sẽ đông đi cha thì đông đi no là
This was not the first time UXO has struck Hamla's family. 7 years ago, she was in the fields with her then eldest son, who was 12 at the time.
trâu nữa chị nữa tôi mà cậu ở trong mà chị mà nhung chị mà bỏ rong câu chị này chị khởi cho chị theo trâu nữa tôi là tên nó xì thôi đúng luôn nó phải biết tên nó đúng luôn chỉ tôi tan rõ đúng luôn cậu sắp lá nó sắp tao hậu nó sắp bắn gì nó chỉ mò sắp khởi dâu nó thế chân ba nó bất cứ số tên nó đúng luôn cái gì nên bất số nó chỉ lại tên nó cho cả đúng luôn.
The loss of her husband and 2 sons has left Kamla alone to take care of 4 young children.
Chỉ mà chỉ cứ thằng nó trốn xe là để cho cô là xe chỉ bảo khứ chỉ mà chế nhá chỉ mà chỉ khứ là chỉ bảo muốn nào hỏng chỉ mua lợi cho tôi bỏ được cái chuyện này nhưng chỉ trâu của bác chỉ tôi là tôi ta liền nó giờ lại cho tôi bỏ đi nó thấy trâu tôi ta liền nó thấy trâu của anh trâu sẽ ông khá ta liền nó lan chơi ta liền nó nữa
Chongvaya, the village headman, says the community does its best to avoid UXO and take care of victims. But Laos is a cash-strapped country, where the average annual income is less than $2,500 a year.
เดี๋ยวเรื่องอันตรายอันที่อันอื่นย้อนกันทำให้ทำนาเนาะโมหูโมเห็นขึ้นไปซับข้อเห็นนาเห็นให้แล้วมันไปถึงบ่ก็ไปอันนั้นบางเจ้าเด็กน้อยเพิ่นอันโมหูแล้วมันไปอันนั้นบ่อันเนี่ยยังเรียนอายุเนาะ
The village's best hope is that a foreign-funded UXO removal team will come and clear the ground.
ก็มีองค์การเมนเนาะก็มีองค์การยูโซลาวเนาะประจำเกวียงซึ่งกวางเฮาเนาะนั่นคือถ้าว่าพ่อแม่ป้าส่วนเขาเจ้าเห็นผู้ใดก็แนะนำโทรศัพท์ให้เขาเจ้าแล้วเขาเจ้ามาเก็บเงิน
With at least 3,200 square miles of land still contaminated by UXO, and possibly much more, the wait goes on.
องค์ประกอบของทีมงานอยู่ในทีม1 คนกดกู้8 คนแพทย์สนาม1 คน
The MINH Action Group, or MAG, is one of the largest UXO removal organizations operating in Laos today.
Since 1994, MAG has been working in 2 main provinces, Sengkuang and Cam Wan, and these are among the most bombed provinces in the country due to their strategic location and their proximity to the Ho Chi Minh Trail. In those provinces, we've cleared around 100 million square meters of land, approximately 500,000 UXO items we've destroyed. The U.S. was, of course, was involved in the war very heavily, but they also are a major funder for us. Starting in 2016 in particular, when President Obama visited Laos, he really started an increase. The U.S. was already doing funding, but he increased the funding significantly. But the work still remains. Just looking around us today, we're not that far from Phonsavan City. We're just about 8 kilometers outside of the provincial capital, and still we're finding many cluster munitions, many at UXO. So what we're doing is doing technical surveys around the province. We're trying to understand the scale of the problem, and we estimate, well, there's many more years of work, but we can see that at least 10 years of intensive work remains here in Laos.
So essentially, it's possible you can find something in every one of these boxes.
Given the amount of red, I would say it's likely.
Yeah.
The only areas that we can say are within all best effort are totally cleared are these lighter green boxes, and those have been fully surveyed and cleared. So 100%, the teams have gone through with a detector every square meter of those areas.
And that's where we're standing right now.
Exactly.
Okay.
In general, what we do as MAG, we work very closely with the Lao government on their development priorities. We make sure that the area that we're clearing with U.S. support is in line with where the government is prioritizing. Areas such as this, which are agricultural areas near communities, schools, things like that, where we know that are important to clear support won't be coming forever. We understand that. So what we're trying to do is focus on those priority areas.
I think there's a lot more that the U.S. can do to make amends, and that is to continue funding. Tens of millions of dollars sounds like a lot, and $350 million is what the U.S. has spent over the last several decades, but it's still not enough. Without the continued U.S. funding and increased U.S. funding, it's going to take a very long time for us to clear those areas.